So you've often spoken about choosing the path of least resistance and also going downstream, which is just such a wonderful thing. But for me, I guess what I'm most wondering about is how do I maintain my power of creation in compromising with other people on the planet? Because it's really easy to go ahead and...
You can't. You give up your power in the attitude of compromise.
Mm-hmm. But I think maybe the better word is collaboration in that sense.
We expected more from all of you on that. You give up your power in the attitude of compromise because you want what you want. You want what you want. And compromise, there's tension in compromise.
True, and that's exactly what I felt, is that I have really, really specific desires. And I'm just that type of person that usually knows exactly what I want. But it's sometimes what I've found in my experience difficult to get those elements that I'm very good at being able to create a perfect life experience for myself.
What you're saying to us? What you're saying to us is, I have very specific things that I desire. And other people don't always agree with that. And it would sure go a lot better for me if they did. Mm-hmm. So a big part of what I've been doing, we're speaking from your perspective and a lot of other people's too, has been trying to get people to agree with me on what I want. And then when we're all in agreement, then it's easier for me to get what I want. And we say, oh boy, is that ever the hard way of going about it? Mm-hmm. When you get it, that nobody has to compromise with you. Nobody else has to agree at all. There's just one agreement that you have to find, and that's the agreement between you and you in the moment. And that is indicated to you by the ease of emotion within you. Mm-hmm. Now we know you're all getting this conceptually because we've been hammering at it all day. You get it intellectually. Conceptually, it makes perfect sense. So let's figure out how to specifically apply it here.
Sure. So a good example is, let's say if I want to get to somewhere, like if I wanted to come here today and I'm going with somebody and I say, oh, I really want to take a limo to get here and I want to stop for lunch beforehand and I want to do this. And someone else says, for example, well, I don't really feel like I have the financial abundance for that, or maybe I've already eaten, or things like that. Then it's really easy for me to just say, okay, that's fine. I can just go downstream with it, and I can just sacrifice that desire. I'm not going to fall off the face of the earth if that doesn't happen.
But wait, so this is a very good offering that you're giving.
Yeah.
So you had a clear idea of what you wanted. You hooked up with someone who was in sort of disagreement with it. So your word was very poignant. I sacrificed my desire for the sake of making peace with the situation, and gave up my desire in order to go along with someone else who may have been stronger, or it may have just not been worth the trouble. But what really happened was you launched rockets of desire. Going to hook up with people that are more on my wavelength. Going to do a better job of pre-paving things in advance. Not going to wait until the last minute and try to bang things into place. Have a clear vision of what I want and be so in alignment with it, the universe orchestrates the perfect cooperative components to rendezvous with me. So even though this one day and this one experience is less than what you wanted, in the making peace with it, because it's just one day and it doesn't matter that much, but in your conscious awareness that you've lined up because you are particular about what you want, and you see, we don't see you as sacrificing anything. We don't see you as sacrificing what you want and going along with someone else. We see you lining up with your true power and making it more likely that the evidence of what you really want will be a bigger part of your life experience later on. It's in the struggle. It's in that it doesn't work. It's in the defiance. It's in the idea that it is a sacrifice. It's in the idea that somebody else is getting their way and I'm not getting my way. Or it's in the idea that I'm not powerless, or that the universe isn't cooperating with me, or that this is a bigger, hairier deal than any that Abraham's making it out to be. It's in those attitudes that you hold yourself in a experience that doesn't change, But in the, oh, whatever, it's not that big a deal, even though, because my vortex is holding what I really want, and my vortex will reveal it to me. And so the question that you're wanting to ask is, what is the path of least resistance right here and now to this outcome that I want? And we're saying to you, the path of least resistance always is chilling, making the best of it, looking for the positive aspects of it, not railing against it, because you're not giving up anything. You've already put it into the vortex. You've already put your request in there, and your request is in the process of being granted and will be granted fully in the moment that you are really in a place of absence of resistance. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So when your life is going really well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you do relax and not struggle or tense against it, there are a lot of people who would say, well, you're just being a doormat. You're just letting everybody else have their way. And you're saying, no, I just like happy. I just like peaceful. Well, they say, oh, well, you should stand up for yourself. You shouldn't let people run over the top of you. And we say, it's not letting anybody run over the top of you to relax into the true power. The leverage of this energy that creates worlds is huge. And to access it, there is an attitude of effortlessness and an acceptance of worthiness that is required. That we've been playing for a while with these money affirmation cards, money and the law of attraction. And how so often people are determined through their effort to just get it right. And so as they stand in a place of not having what they want, and they focus and affirm, they don't realize that in all of that efforting, they're just digging in and making it worse. Where in their relaxing and accepting the perfection of where they stand on their way to where they're going, it flows so much more easily. We mock our own brilliant cards. From outside the vortex, these cards are awful. I will praise success wherever I see it. Who writes this stuff? The law of attraction adds power to both problems and solutions. Well, that's helpful. I do not need to have money to attract money. Fortunate. That's very fortunate. In other words, you just feel sarcastic. You feel alienated. To effort for something that you don't have is the opposite of what you want to do. What you want to do is get into the vortex and then focus, you see. So what you do is you watch for the opportunity because you've chilled, and then you have plenty of those. You gave an analogy of something not working, but you have equal or more examples that you could give of days that just flow, where the traffic lights just open for you, where people flow into your experience at perfect timing, where you get this synergy between you, where the ideas are just popping. You have so many more of those moments. So when you're in the middle of one of those vortexual moments and then focusing with great specifics, what happens is you begin practicing the vibration of being in the vortex rather than practicing the vibration of being out of the vortex, and then it becomes your experience more and more. If you've been listening to us for a while, you've heard endless examples. You brought up the story that we were telling you about flowing downstream. And that flowing downstream, just letting the stream carry you rather than bucking the current, really is what we're talking about here. And then the analogy of the vortex took on even more power than that, because that stream becomes this vortex that really is calling you in. And the source within you and all of the elements of the universe are all working in your favor. And the only thing that keeps you from flowing with this power that creates worlds is some resistant feeling in the moment that compromise often is about. And in the attitude of, I don't have to compromise with anything. I'm just blending with all the goodness and all of the power and all the worthiness that I am, coupled with all of the requests that I've recently added to the mix. It is creation at its very best.
Right.
Good time for a segment of refreshment.